What's going on, everybody? This is actually an iced latte that I'm drinking out of my Cersei Lannister chalice today. It is quite good. So today we are going to talk about Game of Thrones. If you don't speak High Valyrian, can you even comment on Game of Thrones? Well, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, Andrew, do you speak High Valyrian?"
Daenerys tinha mesmo em Targaryen, e Valyrian connection.
No. How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna talk about Game of Thrones now? Because it's over. Because it's done. Okay, so yes, I am disappointed, but for a lot of reasons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each character, and I'm going to talk about what about each character, how it happened, in my opinion about it. I'll probably skip some of the ones I don't really care about. Sorry, like the Clegane Bowl, stuff like that. Like, I don't care. I don't care. That was stupid. I loved the Hound, but that felt like a stupid waste for me. We're just going to start at the top, and by the top I mean whoever comes to my mind first, and that is Arya. I like the whole gonna go explore west of Westeros thing, and I think that could be really cool. Because she has talked about it before, and that was kind of like in character for her. I didn't like that Arya just all of a sudden was like, okay, you're right, this is too dangerous and scary for me. I'm just gonna go over here now and not go kill Cersei, which is like what her entire character has been about. The fact that she really didn't use any of her Faceless Man skills that she learned, and that's like literally her entire character is Faceless Man and kill Cersei. And then at the end, she's kind of like, you know what, never mind, I don't need to do those things anymore. So maybe like that was a good character twist to some people, but I didn't love that. Okay, moving along, Bran. It just doesn't make really much sense to me because he's been like pushing this like I don't want it kind of thing, just like Jon, and then all of a sudden he's like, this is why I'm actually here, never mind, like I can't be the Lord of Winterfell because I'm not even a human anymore. Oh, but I can be the king because I am a human. No, that felt stupid to me. We just have to get into it because my favorite character obviously is Daenerys, and it is still Daenerys, and it's always been Daenerys. They were trying to just make her go crazy like a Targaryen because genetically, if we look at human history, she should be crazy. She shares 75% of her genes exactly with her dad because of the genetics that she has. So I get it. She should go crazy, but even the Mad King before didn't go crazy that quickly. So that's like it kind of came off like a girl going crazy. This like great woman all of a sudden snapping kind of made it look hormonal, which is super misogynistic. So bad of them to make it look like that. I hate that. So if they would have done it a little bit more slowly, yes, I say, okay, maybe she would have gone crazy. But in my mind, and the way that I still think about it, I don't think she went crazy. I think that she saw that this city was going to rebel against her. And so she said, I'm going to make an example of this city so that any other city that she ever came to conquer, like the North or the Westerlands or something like that, if she came to that city, then all they have to do is fight until they're losing, and then they can surrender and there's no punishment. No, you surrender now and then you don't die. Or if you don't surrender, then you die. So she set that precedent forward. Maybe not should have happened on King's Landing and a lot more people would have lived, but now she has that precedent set and she could rule peacefully. And who knows, she probably would have. I think she would have. I think she was a good person still. You saw human emotion there at the end, so I don't think she was absolutely crazy. And if her advisors kind of get a whip on her and they didn't all betray her at the last minute, then maybe she would have been fine. In my mind, I think Drogon, which this will bring up Drogon too, is taking Daenerys back to Valyria, where there are other dragons, and she'll be resurrected by a Red Priestess or something like that. I mean, it's happened several times in the show before. Why can't she come back now? I think that there's more to the story. There was that like red comet in an earlier season that signified Daenerys. Like, what did that mean? Like, there was talks in the books about like how dragons can like have babies by themselves and stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like there's a lot more to that. And in my imagination, I'm going to keep that kind of mindset. So I'm not saying goodbye to Daenerys. In my mind, she's not gone. Maybe that's denial, actually, probably. Okay, Robin Arryn. Oh, hey. He was the one that was sucking out his mom's boobs for like 5 seasons. Cersei and Jaime, yes, that was stupid to me. I know. God, there's so many characters that they just, to me, completely twisted them up. Cersei got scared at the last minute, which is human, but it also made her look super weak, like a weak woman. And then Jaime had this whole, redemption thing going, and that was dumb to me that he went back to Cersei for love, but not that surprising that he would go back for love. I just don't understand the whole Brienne thing then, because then they just make Brienne look like another weak woman. So, they just kind of degraded everyone except for Jon, who is the man, to make him look like this honorable guy, but everyone else around him is now this awful person. And I don't like that they were using a direct comparison between men and women, is what it felt like to me. That men were more stable. Varys kept saying that men would be on the throne, not women. And then they still did that. And that's so stupid to me. You can't build up all of this misogyny and then just be like, oh, actually we meant it. Women suck. Men have to rule. Especially right now, that's insane. They shouldn't do that. Cersei, I guess I get it. I wish it would have been more, satisfying to watch her die. I love Cersei, but wasn't that satisfying. But she's got to die somehow, and it could have been better, yes, but I'm not that upset about it. I also kind of screwed up with Brienne because she was this super strong woman, and then they show her as this super weak emotional woman. I guess maybe at the end they kind of had this redemption thing going where she was like, oh, I'm the leader of the Kingsguard now, but they still made her do this whole sad breakdown thing. I don't know, it seems stupid to me. I'm not a huge Sansa fan. I don't know. I feel like she gets, I just hate this, goody-goody, we are so honorable because our dad was honorable. No, you're not. Sansa, you lied. You lied. You shared secrets that you weren't supposed to, that you promised not to. You stirred the pot. And I feel like she's just as power hungry as they were trying to show Daenerys as being. So that doesn't make any sense to me that everyone's like, oh, well, Sansa would be great. And I'm like, not really. I feel like to be a good ruler, you have to be a little bit power hungry in order to maintain that ruling status. Otherwise, you'd be weak and look like Bran, and then everyone's just going to be able to do whatever they want to do, and the lords and the ladies of Westeros are going to end up this great power, and all the common people are not going to get anything. Whereas at least under Daenerys, it probably would have been peaceful, and all of the rules would be the same, and I don't know. Melisandre, when she dies, is what I imagine happens to Gaiman when we turn 30. Bran, I don't really care about. The Dothraki, I saw them all die. We saw all of them die. There were no more fighting Dothraki after they fought the Night King. How are there Dothraki there? And where are they going now? Are they following the Unsullied? The Unsullied don't have lives. They feel like they're not even people. Varys was lying and spying, very obviously. This guy that's supposed to be super good at keeping secrets and is now out and about and very obviously doing things and talking in broad daylight to Jon Snow about treason. But they had to kill him, so they had to do it. Jorah, don't really care about Jorah. I did really like Missandei though. I really liked the whole Grey Worm Missandei romance thing. I thought that was really cute. So they actually, I thought it was a really good point for them to kill her though. That seemed reasonable, and I freaked out when it happened. That was one of those Ned Stark moments where I was no, I wasn't expecting it, and it got me, but I'm sad, but I understand it. Unlike some of the other moments where it's you can't just say we're gonna make crazy stuff happen and then say that's our show, you have to have some justification to it. Samwell and Gilly, I don't really care about. Almost as little as I care about the Golden Company, who do nothing. This super expensive, talked about army in the show for a long time, don't do anything. That's crazy to me. The Night's Watch, I don't understand what that's there for. That's what everyone's saying, why is that there? It's a jail now, I guess, but what are they guarding against, and who's gonna send people to this thing that doesn't contribute to anything? I don't understand that, because the wildlings are there, they're fine. There's no more White Walkers. Unless there are. And so that's why I kind of get into my theory, because I feel like the Night King wasn't the only White Walker, right? They made it too purposeless, right? They built up this cool concept of this fantasy horror thing that's going to come down to kill everyone because there's got to be some motive, right? What's the point of them? Or they've got to have a reason because of the story, to eliminate the stories of humans. That doesn't make any sense. And they can't swim, So they're only going to take out Westeros, which is this tiny little continent on the rest of the world. There's got to be so much more to them than that, right? In my mind, I think that the White Walkers are not done. I think that the Night King was a White Walker that created a bunch of other White Walkers, but I feel like there are more because there's been a winter before. That winter came and left, and somebody must have killed or defeated the White King then, because then why didn't he just come down and march through Westeros? Because of the wall? I mean, he could figure out a way to get through the wall. I have this feeling that maybe then the Night King is done, but there's still White Walkers, and Daenerys is over in Valyria with her new dragons, and I feel like in my mind there's just more story that could be told with good explanations and everything like that. So in my mind it's not over, and I think that's denial. I know they're doing other series or whatever, and it's going to be like prequels or sequels or something like that, but that's what I love so much about this show. Even though the end wasn't as satisfying as we wanted, and I don't really know many people who were super satisfied with it. I love the show because it makes us critically think about lore and characters and like what we think would happen based on our own opinions, and like the fact that it will live on my mind that way forever is amazing. And that I get so excited to talk about something like this is beautiful. So even though it may not have given me the emotion specifically and that closure that I needed from the finale, the show itself has given me so much more that I appreciate it so much. And the actors are amazing. Like, no matter what they're given, they're going to do an amazing job. And the writers did, I guess, what they could with what they had. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a writer, so I'm not judging their writing. Would I have done it differently? Who can say? I am sad that it's over. I gotta find something new to get into. If you're looking for a really good book to read, Patrick Rothfuss does this series called The Name of the Wind. I really like it. This is not sponsored or anything. This is just something that I've read recently that I really liked. It's kind of like fantasy, and I really love fantasy stuff. If you've got any really good fantasy books to share, please link them down below. What were your opinions? What are your thoughts? This is all I do all day right now when I'm bored, is read Game of Thrones fan theories and fictions and things that could be happening or might have happened. If you're not a Game of Thrones fan and you still watch this anyway, you are a true supporter. Jeez. Also, the soundtrack is up and it's so good. Even though the moments that you're listening to aren't necessarily the best moments, it's still really good to listen to. If you like movie soundtracks like that, I love them. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling about something that I'm passionate about. If you don't like Game of Thrones, then there will be some other kind of video coming out pretty soon. Thank you guys so much for watching this video about Game of Thrones. New videos coming out soon. I will see you guys then. And remember, never stop learning about Game of Thrones, specifically.